I sat in my study in Phoenix, Arizona. The desert sunset painting the sky orange through the window. The leather chair creaked under me, the same one I'd sat in for 30 years while running my small accounting firm. I should have seen it coming. The signs were all there. But when it's your own daughter, you want to believe the best. My wife Margaret passed away 3 years ago from a sudden heart attack. We'd been married for 42 years. She was the one who kept our family together, the glue that made everything work. After she died, I sold our family home in Scottsdale. Too many memories, too many empty rooms. I bought a smaller ranch-style house in a quiet neighborhood and invested the rest, about $450,000, in a trust Margaret and I had set up years ago. Our daughter Emily was our only child. We'd given her everything. Private schools, college paid in full, even helped with the down payment on her first condo. She married a guy named Brandon about 8 years ago. I never liked him much. He had this way of looking at things, always calculating, always measuring value. He worked in sales, talked big about deals that never seemed to materialize. But Emily loved him, so I kept my mouth shut. They had 2 kids, my grandchildren. Olivia was 7, and Jacob was 5, beautiful kids. I'd see them maybe once a month, sometimes less. Emily was always busy. Brandon had this excuse or that excuse. Work, the kids' activities, traffic, always something. The first real warning sign came about 6 months ago. Emily called me on a Tuesday afternoon. She never called during the week. "Dad, we need to talk about something important." "What's wrong? Are the kids okay?" "The kids are fine. It's about your living situation." I frowned, looking around my house. Everything was in order. I kept the place clean, paid my bills on time, still did the books for 3 small businesses in the area. At 67, I was in better shape than most men half my age. What about my living situation? Brandon and I have been talking. You're getting older, and you're all alone in that house. What if something happens? What if you fall and nobody finds you for days? Emily, I'm fine. I have neighbors. I have friends at the community center. I play chess 3 times a week. That's not the same as family, Dad. We think you should consider moving closer to us. Maybe look at some nice senior communities in our area. Our area was Tempe, about 30 minutes away, but it might as well have been another state. The senior communities she was talking about cost $3,000–4,000 a month. I like where I am. Just think about it, okay? We're only thinking of you. That conversation stuck with me, not because of what she said, but because of what I heard in her voice. The same tone she used to use as a teenager when she wanted something. A car, a trip, money for something she couldn't quite explain. 2 months later, they invited me over for Sunday dinner. It was early October, still hot in Phoenix, but bearable. I brought a pie from the bakery Margaret used to love. When I arrived, Brandon answered the door. He was smiling too much. "Richard, good to see you. Come in, come in." The kids hugged me, showed me their latest drawings from school. Emily was in the kitchen, and something smelled good. Pot roast, maybe, but there was a tension in the air I couldn't place. We ate dinner, talked about the kids' school, about Brandon's latest sales opportunity. Then, after the kids went to play in their room, Emily brought out a folder. "Dad, we wanted to talk to you about something." Here it was. I set down my coffee cup. Brandon leaned forward. "Richard, we've been doing a lot of thinking about your future, about making sure you're taken care of." "I'm taking care of myself just fine." "Of course you are," Emily said quickly. "But we want to make sure you're protected. We've been talking to an estate planning attorney, and he suggested some ways to protect your assets." She opened the folder and pulled out several documents. Legal papers, dense with text. "What is this?" "It's a power of attorney and a trust modification. Basically, it would allow us to help manage your finances and make medical decisions if you ever need us to. It's for your protection, Dad." I picked up the papers and started reading. I'd been an accountant for 40 years. I knew what I was looking at. This wasn't just about helping me. This would give Emily and Brandon complete control over everything. My bank accounts, my investments, my house. They could sell it all without my permission. This gives you control over my assets. Only to protect them, Brandon said. And only if you need help. But I don't need help. Emily reached across the table and took my hand. Dad, please. We're just trying to plan ahead. You're 67. Mom died unexpectedly. What if something happens to you? Then I have a will. Everything goes to you anyway. But this would avoid probate, save on taxes, make everything easier. I pulled my hand back. No. No? I'm not signing this. Brandon's smile faded. Richard, be reasonable. We're trying to help you. Help me by taking control of my money? That's not what this is about, Emily said, and I heard an edge in her voice I didn't recognize. Or maybe I did. Maybe I just never wanted to hear it before. Then what is it about? She glanced at Brandon. He gave a small nod. Okay, fine. We're in some financial trouble. Brandon's company is restructuring, and my hours got cut at work. We're barely making the mortgage. We thought, if we could access some of your money, just temporarily, we could get back on our feet. You want to borrow money? Not borrow, Brandon said. It's already going to be Emily's eventually. We're just asking to access it now, when we actually need it. I stood up. I need to go. Dad, please. I said no, Emily. I'm not signing anything. If you need help, if you need a loan, we can talk about that. But I'm not giving you control of everything I have. I left, drove home, sat in my study and stared at the wall. Margaret would have known what to do. She always knew what to do. The next day, I called my attorney, a guy named Thomas Chen who'd handled our estate planning for 20 years. Tom, I need you to review something. I sent him photos of the documents Emily had given me. He called back within an hour. Richard, don't sign this. This is way more than standard power of attorney. This would let them liquidate everything. Your house, your investments, everything. And there's a clause here that makes it very difficult to revoke once signed. That's what I thought. Has Emily asked you for money? She says they're having financial problems. Then help them if you want. But not like this. I'm going to be honest with you, Richard. This is what people do when they're planning to take advantage of a senior. I see it too often. She's my daughter. I know. I'm sorry. But I'm telling you, as your attorney and your friend, don't sign. I thanked him and hung up. Then I did something I wasn't proud of. I called a private investigator. Her name was Sarah Mitchell, and she came recommended by Tom. She was in her 40s, professional, and direct. What do you need to know? My daughter says she and her husband are having financial problems. I want to know if that's true. You think they're lying? I think they're not telling me everything. She found out in 3 days. Brandon wasn't being restructured. He'd been fired 6 months ago for falsifying sales reports. He was working part-time at a car dealership now, making a fraction of what he used to. Emily's hours hadn't been cut. She'd quit her job without telling me. Something about wanting to focus on a multi-level marketing business that was going nowhere. They were 3 months behind on their mortgage. They had maxed out 4 credit cards. They'd borrowed money from Brandon's parents, who had cut them off after they discovered Brandon had lied about what the money was for. But there was more. Sarah found social media posts Emily had made in a private group for people dealing with elderly parents. She'd joined the group 2 years ago, right after Margaret died. She'd been posting about me. My dad is sitting on $500,000 in assets and won't help us. How do I convince him to sign over power of attorney? Update. He refused to sign. Any suggestions? We're desperate. Thinking about talking to a lawyer about having him declared incompetent. He's 67 and lives alone. Is that enough? I read every post. Each one felt like a knife. This wasn't sudden desperation. This was a plan that had been building for 2 years. I sat with this information for a week. Part of me wanted to confront her. Part of me wanted to pretend I never saw it. But I knew I had to protect myself. I just didn't know how bad it would get. The call came on a Saturday morning in mid-November. Emily, crying. Dad, please, I need you to come over. It's important. Please. The drive to Tempe felt longer than 30 minutes. When I got there, Brandon's car wasn't in the driveway. The kids weren't home. Just Emily, red-eyed, sitting at the kitchen table with the same folder from before. Dad, thank you for coming. I know we didn't leave things well last time, but I really need you to reconsider. Emily, please just listen. We're going to lose the house. The bank has started foreclosure proceedings. Brandon's parents won't help us anymore. You're the only one who can. You quit your job. She froze. What? You quit your job 4 months ago. Brandon didn't get restructured. He got fired. You're not in temporary trouble. You've been lying to me. Her expression changed. The tears stopped. Something cold moved behind her eyes. You had someone investigate me? Your own daughter? You tried to trick me into signing over everything I have. It's not tricking if it's going to be mine anyway. Mom left everything to you, and you're going to leave everything to me. We're just asking to have it now when we actually need it, instead of waiting for you to die. The words hung in the air between us. She realized what she'd said. I saw it in her face. But she didn't take it back. Get out of my house, she said quietly. Emily, get out. If you won't help your own family, then we don't need you. Get out. I left, drove home, called Tom. I need to change my will, and I need you to draft a formal letter stating that I am of sound mind and body, that I refuse to sign power of attorney, and that any claims of incompetency are false. Done. I'll have it ready Monday. One more thing. Can we set up security cameras at my house? You think they'll try something? I don't know what they'll try anymore. Monday came. Tom had everything ready. We installed 3 cameras, one at the front door, one in the living room facing the front door, and one in the kitchen. They recorded to the cloud, accessible from my phone. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. Then, on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, my doorbell rang at 9 in the morning. It was Emily and Brandon. The kids were in the car. Dad, can we come in? Every instinct told me to say no, but those were my grandkids in that car. I stepped aside. They came in. The kids ran to hug me. I hugged them back, trying to memorize the feeling because somewhere deep down, I knew this might be the last time. Kids, go play in Grandpa's backyard, Emily said. They ran off. The 3 of us stood in my living room. I was very aware of the camera behind me, recording everything. Dad, we need to talk. Really talk. Okay. Brandon pulled out the same folder. Richard, we're begging you. Sign these papers. We're about to lose everything. I offered to loan you money. You refused. Because a loan isn't enough. We need $50,000, at least. You have that sitting in the bank doing nothing. It's not doing nothing. It's my retirement. It's my security. You have Social Security. You have your pension from the firm. You don't need all that money sitting there. Emily stepped closer. Dad, please, think about your grandchildren. They're going to lose their home. They're going to have to change schools. Is that what you want? What I want is for you to take responsibility for your own choices. Brandon got fired for lying. You quit your job to sell makeup. Those were your decisions. Brandon's face went red. You self-righteous. Brandon, Emily grabbed his arm. He shook her off. No, I'm done being nice. Your dad is a selfish old man who's sitting on money he doesn't need while his own family suffers. Get out of my house. We're not leaving until you sign. Get out, or I'm calling the police. Emily's voice went high and sharp. You'd call the cops on your own daughter? What kind of father are you? The kind who knows when he's being manipulated. Brandon moved fast. He grabbed the folder and shoved it against my chest. Sign the papers. No. He shoved harder, pushing me back. I stumbled, caught myself on the arm of my chair. Brandon, stop, Emily said. But she didn't move to help me. I'm done, asking nicely. He pulled a pen from his pocket. You're going to sign, old man, one way or another. I'm not signing anything. He grabbed my arm, twisting it, trying to force the pen into my hand. I tried to pull away. He was 42, stronger than me. The folder fell to the floor, papers scattering. Let go of me. Not until you sign. Emily just stood there, watching. Not helping him, but not stopping him either. I managed to wrench my arm free and move toward the door. Brandon followed, grabbing my shoulder from behind and spinning me around. His face was inches from mine. You're a selfish bastard. Your own daughter is suffering, and you won't lift a finger to help. I offered to help, This isn't help. This is robbery. He shoved me. Hard. I fell backward, my hip hitting the corner of my coffee table. Pain shot through my side. I went down on the hardwood floor. "Oh my God," Emily said. "Brandon, what did you do?" "He fell. He's old and clumsy, and he fell." I tried to sit up. The pain in my hip was intense. I might have cracked something. Brandon leaned over me. "Now, are you going to sign?" I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. With shaking fingers, I opened the camera app and switched it to video. I pointed it at Brandon. "I'm recording this. If you touch me again, you're going on camera, assaulting a senior citizen." His face went white. He looked at Emily. She was staring at the phone. "Dad, get out of my house. Both of you. Dad, please. Let's just talk." "Out." They left. Ran, really, grabbing the kids from the backyard and rushing to their car. I heard tires squeal as they drove away. I sat on my floor for a long minute, pain radiating from my hip. Then I pulled up my phone and sent a text to Tom. "Phase 1 complete. Calling 911 now." I'd talked to Tom after the first incident at Emily's house. We'd planned for this possibility. If they tried anything physical, anything that crossed the line from manipulation to assault, we'd document it and go to the police. I just never thought it would actually happen. The 911 operator was calm. "Sir, are you injured?" "Yes, my hip. I think I need to go to the hospital." "Did someone hurt you?" "My son-in-law pushed me. I fell. It's on camera. All of it." The ambulance came first, then the police. 2 officers, one older, one younger. The older one, Officer Martinez, came with me to the hospital. The younger one stayed at my house to collect the security footage. At the ER, they x-rayed my hip. No fracture, but a severe bone bruise. They gave me pain medication and told me to rest. Officer Martinez sat in the room with me, taking my statement. "Your daughter and son-in-law did this?" "Yes." "And you have it on video?" 3 angles. Security cameras in my phone. He nodded slowly. "Mr. Harrison, I'm going to be straight with you. This is elder abuse. That's a felony in Arizona. If you want to press charges, we can arrest them today." I thought about Olivia and Jacob, thought about what this would do to them, but I also thought about what would happen if I didn't press charges. Emily and Brandon would keep coming back, keep pushing, keep escalating until they got what they wanted or until they hurt me worse. "I want to press charges." Officer Martinez nodded. "I'll make the call." They arrested Brandon and Emily at their house 2 hours later. Elder abuse, assault, attempted fraud based on the text messages Sarah had uncovered. The kids were placed temporarily with Brandon's parents, who were apparently horrified by what their son had done. I spent the night in the hospital for observation. Tom came by with papers for me to sign. A restraining order against both Emily and Brandon. An updated will that removed Emily as beneficiary and instead set up a trust for Olivia and Jacob to be administered by Tom when I passed. They'd get everything when they turned 25, but Emily and Brandon couldn't touch it. "Are you sure about this?" Tom asked. She stood there and watched him hurt me. She didn't try to stop him. She just wanted me to sign. "She's still your daughter." "I know." The case moved fast. Brandon's attorney tried to get the charges dropped, claiming I'd fallen on my own. Then the prosecutor showed the security footage in court. All 3 angles. Brandon shoving me falling. Brandon standing over me and demanding I sign. Emily watching and doing nothing. Brandon took a plea deal. 2 years probation, anger management classes, a $10,000 fine. Emily wasn't charged in the end. The prosecutor said she hadn't physically assaulted me, and standing by while it happened wasn't technically a crime. But she was named in the restraining order. She couldn't come within 500 feet of me. I saw her once more, at the courthouse for Brandon's sentencing. She tried to approach me in the hallway. Tom stepped between us. "Emily, you're violating the restraining order. I just want to talk to my dad. You gave up that right when you let your husband assault him." She looked at me over Tom's shoulder. "Dad, please. I'm sorry. We were desperate. We made mistakes. But I'm your daughter. You can't just cut me out of your life." I wanted to feel something. Anger, sadness, something. but I just felt tired. You didn't make a mistake, Emily. You made choices. For 2 years, you made choices. You chose to lie. You chose to manipulate. You chose to let Brandon hurt me. Those weren't mistakes. Those were decisions. So that's it? You're just going to abandon your own daughter? You abandoned me first. Tom guided me away. She didn't follow. The house in Tempe went into foreclosure 3 months later. Emily and Brandon filed for bankruptcy. They moved into a small apartment in Mesa, and Brandon started working at a warehouse. Emily got a job at a call center. The kids stayed in the same school somehow, though I heard through Sarah, who I kept on retainer, that it was because Brandon's parents were helping with tuition. I thought about reaching out, writing a letter, maybe, explaining. But what would I say? I'm sorry I wouldn't let you steal from me? I'm sorry I pressed charges when your husband assaulted me? The therapist I started seeing after all this, Dr. Patel, said I was dealing with complicated grief. Grieving the daughter I thought I had, grieving the relationship I thought we had. She said it was normal. She said it would get better. Some days I believed her. I changed my routine after everything happened, started going to a different community center, one farther from my house, made new friends who didn't know my history, didn't ask questions, played chess with a guy named Roberto every Tuesday. He was 73, a retired teacher, and he beat me more often than I beat him. 6 months after the courthouse, I got a letter. Not from Emily, from Olivia, my granddaughter. It was in crayon, with drawings of flowers and a house. Dear Grandpa, I miss you. Mommy says you're mad at us. I'm sorry. Love, Olivia. I kept that letter in my desk drawer, took it out sometimes, and looked at it. Dr. Patel said I should write back if I wanted to, that it wasn't the kid's fault, but I knew if I wrote back, Emily would use it, would say I was reaching out, that the restraining order should be lifted, that we were reconciling, would find some new angle, so I didn't write back. And that might be the thing I regret most in all of this. A year after everything happened, Tom called me. Richard, I need to tell you something. Emily's attorney contacted me. She wants to challenge the will. On what grounds? She's claiming you were unduly influenced by me when you changed it, that you were mentally compromised after the assault. I laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. Let her try. The case went before a judge. Emily testified that I'd been forgetful, confused, making poor decisions. She brought in a psychologist who'd never met me, but was willing to say that elderly people who experience trauma can become vulnerable to manipulation. Then Tom brought in my medical records, my clean bill of health from my annual physical 2 months before the assault, my cognitive assessment from after the assault, showing no signs of dementia or confusion, letters from my chess club, from my clients, from my neighbors, all testifying that I was sharp, capable, and of sound mind. The judge ruled in about 30 seconds. Miss Harrison, your father made his choices. You don't get to challenge them just because you don't like the outcome. Case dismissed. Emily tried to approach me outside the courthouse again. This time I kept walking. Tom had told me to avoid any conversation, any contact, anything she could use. I heard through Sarah that Emily and Brandon split up eventually. Brandon moved to California to work for his cousin. Emily stayed in Mesa with the kids, working 2 jobs now, living in a small 2-bedroom apartment. Part of me wanted to feel satisfaction at that, justice served. But mostly I just felt empty. I'm 70 now, 3 years since everything happened. My hip still aches when it rains. I still see Dr. Patel once a month. I still take out Olivia's letter sometimes and wonder if I made the right choice. Roberto beat me at chess again yesterday. Afterward, we had coffee, and he asked me something he'd never asked before. Richard, you ever talk about why you moved to this center? Why you started over? I thought about lying, thought about deflecting. But Roberto had become a real friend, maybe the first real friend I'd made in decades. My daughter tried to steal from me. When I refused, her husband attacked me. I had them arrested. He was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. My son did something similar. Not the violence part, but the manipulation. Kept asking for money, making up emergencies. I finally cut him off. Haven't spoken to him in 4 years. Do you regret it? Every day. but I'd do it again. We sat there in comfortable silence. Two old men who'd made hard choices, who'd survived their own families. It wasn't the ending I'd imagined for my life. It wasn't the family legacy Margaret and I had dreamed of building. But I was still here, still standing, still making my own decisions. Emily couldn't take that from me, no matter how hard she'd tried. I went home that night and sat in my study, watching the sunset paint the desert sky. My phone buzzed. A text from Tom. For your information, Emily moved out of state, Tennessee. Took the kids, thought you should know. Tennessee, halfway across the country. Part of me felt relief. Part of me felt loss. I'd never see Olivia and Jacob again. Would never see them grow up, graduate, get married. Would never be the grandfather I'd wanted to be. But I'd be alive. I'd be independent. I'd be in control of my own life. Margaret would have understood that. Margaret would have made the same choice. I hoped she would have. Anyway, I put down my phone and picked up a book. Just another quiet evening in Phoenix, in a house I owned, in a life I controlled. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't what I'd planned, but it was mine, and nobody was going to take that from me again.